Welcome back. In the last video, we talked about the story in the root zone, watching the graphs and watching the data to tell a story to the farmers. The farmers are really interested in the root zone activity once they understand it a little bit more in detail. You see, most of the graphs that we've looked at over the years, they're very complicated to understand. We don't know what all the moving lines mean, and that's where you come into play. You come into play to help the farmers understand this information, help them bring value to what's actually taking place in the root zone. In a couple of videos back, we talked about the value of the probe itself, a soil moisture probe. We talked about the value of that, but we looked at it from a little bit different perspective as a plant management tool. When you're looking at managing plants, plants are actually what make the farmers money. The moisture is just a tool that the plants use to bring nutrition into itself. See, the system that we're really monitoring is the uptake system. We're monitoring the flow source. It's almost like the bloodstream, if you will, of the growing crop. But what about this crop? What about this moisture profile in the off season? What are some things that we need to be thinking about when we're looking at the out of season data? See, if you look at this graph now is showing individual sensor data in the off season. The last video, we talked about all this information in season, the story inside the season. Well, now we're looking at the story outside the season. And when you start realizing what all this data is showing us outside the season, the growing season, when there's no crop in the field, it's just the soil health, the soil life, and the water. That's all it is. When we're watching just those components, there's so much that we can learn. The Grow Guru continuous root zone monitoring system does that. If you look down here at the dates, you can see when we did our last rain event, this big rain event, and then from there it really didn't rain for a long time. You look at the dates. This is in the Midwest. We didn't have a whole lot of activity going on. But right in this period of time, there's so much happening in that soil root zone. You see, all the other sensors out there that are sitting on the shelf, the sensors that are sitting on the shelf, they can't tell you this. And that's where 99% of the sensors are in this industry. They're on the shelf. What value is that to you? What value is that to the farmers? It's not. In the next video, I'm going to deep dive into just this data right here. Just this information here. And I'm going to show you how you can begin identifying soil structure issues. You can begin identifying soil health problems by just looking at the data outside of the season. So let's jump in to this next video and let's deep dive into some soil health tools.